Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More. And I want to talk more about the NAR settlement, where a lot of people think buyers are going to save a ton of money because they won't have to pay real estate commissions anymore. That is not what this is. In fact, it was sellers who brought this lawsuit, not buyers. The sellers are trying to save money, and I'll show you how that might happen. First off, it's important to remember this isn't official yet. The court has not approved it. And there's also a difference between realtors and real estate agents. NAR is a National Association of Realtors and is a trade group for real estate agents. So while NAR settles this case, that doesn't represent all real estate agents. So there's a lot of questions about how that will be implemented, how that will work. Mostly this is just very confusing, and most people in the media, even our president, are getting it wrong, saying commissions are now negotiable. Well, they were always negotiable, and this is how it doesn't save buyers any money, even though this might not even be how it works. This is how a lot of people think it's going to work. Really, the main point of this is the MLS systems, which is where houses are listed, multiple listing service, can't advertise a buyer commission anymore. Sellers can still pay a buyer's commission, they just can't advertise it. So, like I said, a lot of craziness going on. But here's kind of what people think might happen with this if sellers stopped paying a buyer's commission and what the costs might be for a buyer. So on a $400,000 house, now is what your costs might be. So let's say you pay $400,000, you have a down payment of 5%. It's important to know your down payment could be less. FHA is 3.5%. Some conventional loans are 3%. VA, USDA, NACA are all zero down. There's down payment assistance. There's all types of ways to reduce this, or you can increase it too. But for this example, we're saying $20,000 down payment. Your closing costs are usually about 3% of the loan. That covers your origination fee, appraisal, your prepaid interest, prepaid insurance, and quite a bit of other costs in there. But it's usually about 3%. And commissions right now, usually the buyer does not pay a commission because the seller pays it. The seller will pay for the listing agent on one side, the buyer's agent on one side. The reason they do that is because it allows more buyers to buy homes. So buyers, a lot of times, if they're spending $32,000 to buy a house, they don't have extra money for the commission. Now in a lower priced house, low income buyers, it's even tighter. So if you want buyers to all of a sudden shell out another who knows how much percent, because all commissions are negotiable, it might cut out a lot of buyers from the home ownership game. And I thought that's what we're trying to do, is increase home ownership. So what is the new situation going to be? Again, this isn't official. This is what just could happen if buyers or sellers are no longer paying that commission. You've still got your $20,000 down payment. You've still got your $12,000 in closing costs. Now, if the buyer is paying their own commission, and this is tricky because as real estate agents, there's no typical commission, there's no standard commission, they're all negotiable. So for us to talk about commissions, because I am a broker, I'm an agent, I can't say everyone pays 3%, 2%, because it's just simply not true. But HUD Homes offer commissions on their properties or foreclosures that HUD gets back from FHA to buyer's agents, and they offer up to 3%.
This is the HUD website. I used to be a HUD listing broker. I still have access to HUD as a buyer's agent. You have to be an agent to use this and submit offers to HUD, by the way. And they offer a 3% commission when you put your offer into their website. And I just did this. You can lower that commission, and what it does is it doesn't lower the price, it increases the amount of money HUD gets. But this does also show that, hey, just because the commission decreases doesn't mean the buyer's going to get that savings. In fact, it was sellers who brought this lawsuit against NAR, not buyers. The sellers wanted to keep more money. They didn't want to lower prices and give buyers a deal. They wanted to keep prices the same and just keep more commission and not pay the buyer's agent. HUD also pays the listing broker 3%. You can't change that. That's what I got paid. That's what they've paid agents for years and years and years and years. Also worked for about 30, 40 other banks. They all paid varying commissions to listing agents, buyer agents. they were all over the place. So commissions have been changing for many years. That gives us an idea of what the federal government does. I wonder if they will be changing their systems and everything after this. I don't know. Ironically, I used to sell and list many HUD homes, and Colorado had a state law that said you had to have carbon monoxide detectors, smoke alarms in every house when you sell them. Everybody had to abide by that except for HUD homes because they were the federal government. I had a lot of agents push back at me and said, hey, this is state law. You have to have these in the home. And HUD wrote a letter that said, sorry, we're the federal government. Our laws supersede the state. We do not have to do this. And they wouldn't let listing agents put them in either. It wasn't like I could go buy them myself and put them in. They didn't want us doing that either. So the federal government tends to kind of do what they want. And I wonder if they will change their system after this or just keep on doing what they do. We'll have to see how all this plays out.
Government offers up to 3%. A buyer can take 0. They can take 1, 2, 3, and HUD will pay that commission directly to the buyer. Well, now, if, say, HUD no longer pays that commission, which I don't know if they'll change that, but just go with me. If they don't, and that's what some people think might happen, now the buyer is paying from $0 to $12,000 in commission. The 0 assumes you're going to find an agent to work for free, which in my experience probably won't happen. Who knows how much that agent will take? Some people think all of a sudden agents are going to take a lot less. In my opinion, commissions, which range from a lot of different percentages, are where they at now because that's what agents need to survive. People talk about how agents make all this money and how expensive they are. The average income for an agent is like $50,000, and that doesn't include their broker split, their education, their licensing, their insurance, all these other fees, the office fees they have to pay. Many agents are starving and struggling, and if you want to lower their commission a bunch, they're going to disappear, they're going to go away. And some people might say, great, we need less agents. Well, if you have fewer agents, that's less competition. If you have less competition, that drives up commissions, not down. More competition drives things down. That's the simple economics of it. So if we have this new system, which again, like I said, I don't know if this is how it's going to work. This is what some people think it's going to work. Buyers are paying more. They're going to pay way more money out of pocket to buy houses. Now, what if you're going to say, well, houses are all of a sudden going to be cheaper? Maybe, maybe not, but let's just say, yes, houses will be cheaper. Let's go over the math and see what buyers will pay then. Although I don't think that's going to happen because, like I said in the beginning, sellers filed this lawsuit so that they could keep more money, not so that they could give it away to buyers. And just because the price is lower on a house doesn't mean buyers are getting all that cash back. We'll show you those numbers now. All right, so here's the math. If the home price goes down, again, I don't see why this would happen. Some people think it's just going to lower prices. I don't get that logic because, like I said, the sellers will just keep that money. Home prices are based on supply and demand, and really the cost to build, this won't impact that at all. Unless there's like millions of buyers who now can't buy houses. Maybe that's how they're going to decrease prices, is just take so many buyers out of the market so they can't pay the extra costs. Again, all right, I should have left my other format. That's okay. So now let's say the house is worth $375 instead of $400. Logically, it doesn't make sense, but we're just going to go with it, okay? Your down payment is now $18,750 because it's a percent of $375, not $400. Your closing costs are $11,250 again because it's a percent of $400. Although technically, you could say it's based on the loan amount, not the purchase price. The loan amount will be slightly less than that. But this makes the math easier, so just go with me. Your commissions in the new system, remember this is a new system, we're basing on HUD commissions because they pay from 0 to 3%. Could be 0 if you find an agent to work for free, to $11,250 now. So your costs are reduced. Before, remember, it was $32,000 to $44,000. Before. Sorry, I didn't take my time on that. Now your costs are $30,000 to $41,250 as a buyer. But remember, in the old system, your costs were about this $32,000 right here. Most agents are going to want to be paid. Most can't survive on teeny tiny commissions. So you're probably going to be paying close $8,000 to $10,000 more as a buyer if this new system were to take hold and work like people think it will work. Again, I don't know if it's going to work that way because sellers can still pay commissions from what I read. It just can't be advertised on the MLS. I really don't think it's going to change that much, except make things more complicated, confusing, as we've already seen in the media and even the president saying it's going to save a bunch of money. Commissions are negotiable now. They always have been. So it's a tricky situation. I prefer free markets personally and think they work out well. I think the more regulations and legislation you have, the more expensive things get and the more confusing they get. Now, there should be some legislation, regulations, I understand that, but I don't know if it's the right instance to have it in regard to how real estate works right now. It works pretty well. Americans are some of the wealthiest in the world because of the houses they buy. And the system is set up now to allow people to buy houses at a greater rate than many other countries. So while some other countries might have lower commission rates and different systems, you really want to look at how well the American people are doing as far as their wealth in houses and being able to buy houses. And they've been doing pretty good, despite what the media says as well. The owner occupancy rate has been increasing. It's gone from 62% in 2016 to 66% now. So millions more Americans own houses now than they did in 2016 as a percentage-wise, not just a total number. Well, I'll probably have more videos on this. I know it's confusing, it's tricky, looking at the numbers and how the math works and knowing how real estate agents operate. So if anything, I guess one good thing this lawsuit has done is maybe, hopefully, educate people on the difference between realtors and real estate agents, educate people a little bit on how commissions work and who gets paid and why they get paid. Although honestly, it was all pretty transparent before. If someone wanted to look, was curious, asked a few questions. I published this stuff before a lot, but for people who need it forced on them, I guess, maybe that's one good thing. But in general, I think this settlement, this lawsuit, won't do as much as they think it will do. It'll make things complicated. And if it did do what they think it would do, would make it worse for buyers, maybe possibly help sellers a little bit. But again, if it actually ends up lowering prices, which I don't think it'll do, it hurts sellers and it hurts buyers both in the long run. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want me to do more videos that go into more detail on this, let me know. And I would also reiterate, again, this is only for realtors, not all real estate agents. And there were other settlements with Keller Williams and different brokerages that were different than this settlement. So it's all so confusing and crazy because of all the different things going on. I don't blame you if you don't understand all of it, because almost nobody understands all of it or knows exactly what will happen.